Hey, what's going on, guys? I'm going to be starting a new video series. Now this video series is going to be called Q&A, or questions and answers, and what this is basically going to be is questions that have been submitted in comments or through PM or through email that I get on a consistent basis, and I want to go ahead and make a video of some of those questions that I keep getting repeat questions of, so that I can make an in-depth video and hopefully answer that question for you, as well as this provides a way or an avenue for me to continue making more videos more consistently and to be able to make videos that might help someone out. So the first video in this series is going to be involving knife sharpening versus knife honing. And the reason why I want to make this video is because I've done some sharpening videos in the past where I've gotten a lot of questions on knife sharpening versus knife honing, and what's the difference, and why are you calling that sharpening when it's actually honing, and things of that nature. A couple videos in specific where I've gotten these questions are my knife sharpening on a coffee mug and knife sharpening on glass. Those are the videos, those are actually some of my most successful videos, so I get a large portion of comments that I get are from those videos. So anyways, what I want to talk about first is what is the difference between honing versus sharpening when we're speaking about knife sharpening. Basically, when you sharpen a knife, you're taking a knife that is dull, does not have a very sharp edge, or you're taking a knife that has a sharp edge but you want to change the edge a large amount. So basically, you're sharpening your knife, removing a large amount of metal, reshaping the edge, or making a new bevel, or you're making the primary bevel, the secondary bevel. You're basically just taking a lot of metal off of your knife to make it sharper. That's pretty much it. That's knife sharpening. You can use all kinds of different knife sharpeners to do this, different materials, different grits, but you're basically taking off a lot of metal, removing that metal to make your knife sharper. Now knife honing, when you're honing your knife, you're basically taking a knife that's already sharp and you're just refining that edge, that apex of the edge. That edge, you're taking any little imperfection that edge may have and you're removing it by honing it and making the knife cut better. For instance, you might have a roll in your edge where the edge is moved to the other side of the knife a little bit. By honing it, you're not taking off very much metal at all. You're just refining that sharp edge you already have. And when you sharpen, you need to create, the edge, or completely change the geometry of the edge. You're taking a lot of metal off in sharpening. Now it's important to get that out of the way before we start talking about the question I've been getting concerning knife sharpening versus knife honing. Now one of the biggest questions I've gotten is people will say that, for instance, my video titled Sharpening Knives on a Coffee Mug, they say, well, you're not sharpening your knife, you're just honing it. And that's pretty much what inspired me to make this video, is because, well, for one, people automatically assume that I don't know the difference between sharpening versus honing without thinking about any of my reasoning for why I named the videos the way I do, or why I'm putting these videos out in the first place. Now the reason why I will call that video, for instance, knife sharpening or sharpening knives on a coffee mug as opposed to honing knives on a coffee mug, is that most people that are looking for videos or information online on how to sharpen a knife simply, effectively, inexpensively, are not knife nuts like most of us are here on YouTube in this community. They're just average people that, have a few knives, they want to make it sharper, they don't want to go out and buy a sharpener. And most of these people, I'm willing to bet, do not know the difference between honing and sharpening. So most likely they're going to research how to sharpen their knife and not research how to hone their knife. And that's the reason why I keep those videos titled the way that I do. And there's also another reason that I'm going to touch on at the end of the video, which is going to be my closing point. But basically what I want to say is that, yes, a lot of the times you are just honing your knife in those type of videos. If you're just using a very fine ceramic, or for instance glass, or your car window, things like that, yes, all you're really doing is refining the sharp edge that you already have. If you have a completely dull knife, you're most likely not going to get it sharp by doing that in any small amount of time. So one, I want to clear that up. Yes, I do know the difference between honing and sharpening, but two, I also want to touch on what I believe to be some of the, I don't want to offend people here, but some of the snobbery that has gone on in the knife sharpening community that I've heard of. And this is just my opinion, I'm not pointing anyone out, but I think that people try to overpower others that are getting into knife sharpening by saying things like, you're not sharpening your knife, you're just honing it. And I think it adds negatively to the fact that someone's trying to learn how to sharpen their knife. There's different ways to approach it. If someone's doing something wrong, you can always give them constructive criticism and show them the right way, or possibly try and teach it to them. But when you just try and point out to someone that, oh, you know, you just made a video on this and you did it wrong, or this isn't what this is, without trying to get any information from the person that put the video out, you know, you immediately attack that person. And that's not good at all. And I think it doesn't help anyone in this whole process. It doesn't help teach anyone that's watching the video how to sharpen or how to hone your knife. So I think that's important to remember. And the last thing I want to touch on is that when you say that that knife honing your knife is not in effect sharpening it, well, maybe that's true if we're looking at the definition of honing or the definition of sharpening. But what are you doing when you're honing your knife? Let's say you have a knife that you've been cutting with for a while and it's still sharp, it still cuts, but you want it to cut a little bit better. You want to hone, maybe your edge is rolled over a little bit, it's not cutting as smoothly as it was before, and you want to hone it, you want to make it sharper. Although you're not taking a large amount of metal off, you're not technically sharpening, you're just honing. What are you doing to your knife? You know, are you making it cut better? Yes. What does that mean? Well, it kind of means that your knife is sharper. You know, you can cut better, so your knife must be a little bit sharper. And my point with that is this: although you may only be honing your knife, you're not knife sharpening, you're making your knife sharper. So what does sharp mean? Sharp means sharper, sharpening, that's the key word here. Honing is part of the knife sharpening process, in my opinion. Now, if you go out and look at the Google results and you look at the definition of honing and the definition of sharpening, yes, technically they're different, but in my mind, they're not different. They're just different processes within the knife sharpening process. And that's pretty much my opinion. I know that there's going to be some people with different opinions, and that's alright too. You guys feel free to add anything you want in the description. I'm sorry, not the description, but the comments. And if you have any questions for me, feel free to ask them. I will be making more of these question and answer videos. I thank you guys for watching. I hope that helped someone. It helped clear up some things and answer some questions I've been getting. And as always, thank you very much for watching. Feel free to like, comment, send me a PM if you have any questions that you don't want to post in a comment. I'll be glad to answer as best as I can. So thanks for watching, guys. Take care.